The old alien wolf lay alone on the cold ground. Its fur was dark and thick, but it was dirty and wet from many days outside. The wolf's body was weak and full of deep wounds. Blood had dried on its fur, and it breathed slowly, almost like it was ready to stop breathing forever. The planet around it was silent, with only soft winds blowing through dead trees. No one came near, and the wolf knew it was near the end of its life. For many years, the alien wolf had been strong and proud. It was once a great hunter in its world, feared by many creatures. But time had changed everything. Its body had grown old, and many battles had left it hurt and tired. The wolf had lost much: its home, its family, and many friends. Now it had only one choice left: to accept what was coming and wait for the end. The wolf closed its eyes sometimes and thought about the past. It remembered running fast through forests, chasing prey under the bright stars. It remembered the sound of its pack howling together at the moon. Those were happy days, full of life and hope. But now, the wolf felt only pain and loneliness. The wounds on its body were deep and burning. Some were old and had not healed. Others were fresh from a fight it barely survived. The wolf had been attacked by a large alien beast, bigger and stronger. The fight had been long and hard, but the wolf had won. Still, the injuries were too many, and it had no strength left to hunt or run. The wolf's sharp teeth and claws could no longer protect it. As the sun began to set, the wolf lifted its tired head. Its eyes were cloudy but still held a fire deep inside. The wolf looked up at the orange sky and thought about its life. It knew it could not last much longer. The cold night would come, and with it, the end of its journey. The wolf's heart was heavy. It felt fear, but it did not fight anymore. It had learned to be strong in the past, but now it was time to be quiet and accept what was real. The wolf thought it was time to say goodbye to the world it once ruled. Far away, a small spaceship moved slowly through the stars. Inside, a human medic was preparing for his next mission. The medic was young, kind, and brave. His name was Jack. He had traveled to many planets to help creatures hurt or sick. Jack believed every life was important, no matter how different or strange. Jack's ship landed on the quiet planet near the old wolf's place. The planet was empty and covered in dust and rocks. Jack's sensors showed a weak life signal nearby. He decided to search for it, hoping to find someone who needed help. As Jack walked carefully through the cold land, he saw footprints in the dirt. They were large and deep, made by a heavy animal. Following the tracks, he came closer and saw the old alien wolf lying on the ground. Jack stopped for a moment. The wolf looked scary and tired, but Jack saw something else: pain and loneliness. Without fear, Jack took out his medical kit and moved closer to the wolf. He spoke softly. "I am here to help you." The wolf watched the human carefully. It wanted to growl or run away, but it was too weak. It felt something strange, a small hope inside, like a light in the dark. The wolf did not know what to think, but it allowed Jack to come closer. Jack gently touched the wolf's wounds and began to clean them. The wolf flinched, but it stayed still. Jack worked fast and carefully, using all his tools and medicines. He did not give up, even when the wolf tried to move away. As night came, the stars shone bright above. The wolf still lay on the ground, tired but alive. It looked at the human and felt something it had not felt for a long time: hope. For the first time in many days, the wolf did not feel alone. The old alien wolf stayed still as the human medic worked. Its body ached from many wounds, but the medic's touch was gentle. The wolf's sharp eyes watched every move carefully. It was scared and unsure what the human wanted, but it did not have the power to run or fight. The medic, Jack, spoke softly. "I won't hurt you. I want to help." His voice was calm and kind. He used a small tool to clean the biggest wound on the wolf's side. The wound was deep and red, and it smelled bad. The wolf growled low at the smell but did not try to "Stop, Jack." Jack worked carefully to clean dirt and old blood from the wound. He used a special spray that helped stop the pain. The wolf's muscles twitched as the spray touched the sore skin, but Jack stayed calm and did not rush. After cleaning the wounds, Jack used some bandages made of strong but soft material. He wrapped the wolf's side carefully. The wolf looked at the bandage, then at Jack, as if asking, "Why do you do this?" Jack smiled a little and said, "Because everyone deserves help, even you." He then gave the wolf some water from a small container. The wolf sniffed the water, then drank. Slowly, the water was cool and fresh, and it made the wolf feel a little better. The sun had almost set, and the sky was full of colors: orange, pink, and purple. Jack knew he had to stay near the wolf and watch it through the night. The wolf was weak, but it was alive. Jack made a small fire nearby, careful not to scare the wolf. The warm light helped both of them feel less lonely. Jack talked quietly to the wolf. He told stories about Earth, the blue planet where humans lived. He spoke about big cities, tall buildings, and green forests. The wolf listened with its tired eyes, as if it could understand the strange words. The night grew colder, and the wind blew softly through the trees. The wolf rested its head on the ground, but stayed awake. It felt strange. The human was near, but he did not seem like a threat. The wolf thought about its long life, the battles, the loss, the pain, and wondered if this human was a new kind of chance. Jack stayed by the wolf's side all night. He checked the bandages and gave the wolf small bites of special food he had with him. The food was soft and easy to eat. The wolf was too weak to hunt or find food on its own. Slowly, the wolf's breathing became stronger. Its eyes lost some of the pain and fear. Jack smiled quietly. "You are brave," he said. In the early morning, the first light touched the planet. The wolf looked at the sky, feeling the new day. It did not feel ready to die anymore. Something inside it was changing. A small hope was growing. Jack stood up and looked around. He knew he could not stay here forever. The planet was lonely and dangerous. But he wanted to help the wolf survive. Jack decided to bring the wolf with him to his ship. He moved slowly so he would not scare the animal. He spoke softly. "We will go somewhere safe. You will get stronger." The wolf hesitated, but then followed Jack. It did not know what the future held, but it trusted the human now. The wolf's old wound still hurt, but its heart felt a little lighter. On the way to the ship, Jack thought about the wolf's story. He wanted to learn more about this strange creature and its world. The wolf had lived a hard life, but maybe, together, they could find a better path. When they reached the ship, Jack helped the wolf inside. The ship was warm and quiet. Jack had many machines and medicines to help heal the wolf's body. The wolf lay down on a soft bed. It looked at Jack, feeling safe for the first time in a long time. Jack smiled and said, "We will get through this. You are not alone anymore." The wolf closed its eyes, feeling tired but hopeful. For the first time in a long time, the alien wolf believed it could live again. The alien wolf lay on the soft bed inside the human's ship. It still felt weak, but its body was slowly healing. The deep wounds were closing, and the pain was less. The wolf's eyes were open, watching the strange room around it. There were many lights, machines, and buttons everywhere. The smell was different from the cold planet outside, clean and new. Jack, the human medic, moved quietly around the ship. He checked the machines and gave the wolf some food. The food was soft and smelled good. The wolf sniffed it and took small bites. It had not eaten anything like this for a long time. Days passed and the wolf's strength grew. It could lift its head higher and move its legs a little. Jack was happy to see this. He talked to the wolf every day. "You're strong," he said. "You will run again." The wolf did not speak, but it listened. It began to trust Jack more. The wolf still remembered the pain and loss it had felt, but now there was something new: hope. One day, Jack brought a small device. It showed pictures and sounds. Jack used it to learn about the wolf's world. The wolf watched carefully as Jack showed images of forests, mountains, and other animals like itself. The wolf's eyes grew bright with memories. Jack asked, "Tell me about your pack, your family." The wolf thought for a moment and then gave a low, soft howl. It was a sad sound. Jack understood the wolf had lost many friends and family in battles and wars. The wolf's pack was almost gone. Jack felt sorry, but did not say it out loud. Instead, he promised himself to help the wolf find peace. The wolf's body grew stronger each day. It began to walk slowly around the ship. Sometimes, it tried to stand on its legs but fell back down. Jack helped it with gentle hands. He was patient and kind. One morning, the ship's alarms went off. Red lights flashed, and a loud sound filled the room. Jack looked worried. "We have visitors," he said. "Danger is near." The wolf's ears perked up. It could feel the danger too. Jack opened a small window and saw several ships approaching fast. They were not friendly. Jack knew they wanted to capture the wolf. Jack quickly prepared a safe place in the ship. He made a strong room with thick walls where the wolf could hide. The wolf walked slowly into the room. It looked at Jack, ready to protect itself if needed. The enemy ships landed nearby. Soldiers in armor came out, looking for the wolf. Jack stood firm and told them, "This creature is hurt and needs help. Leave us alone." The soldiers laughed and said, "We want that wolf. It is rare and valuable." Jack shook his head. "No, you cannot take it." A fight started. Jack used his skills and some weapons to defend the ship. The wolf growled loudly, showing its sharp teeth. Even weak, it was dangerous. The soldiers were surprised by the wolf's strength. The fight was hard, but Jack and the wolf stayed strong together. After some time, the enemy ships left. Jack was tired, but happy. The wolf lay beside him, breathing heavy but safe. Jack said, "You are a fighter. You will survive." The wolf looked at Jack with trust and something like thanks. It had never known a friend like this before. From that day, Jack and the wolf became a team. They knew the road ahead was not easy, but together they had a chance. The wolf was no longer alone or hopeless. It had a friend and a reason to live. Days passed slowly inside the ship as the alien wolf and Jack grew closer. The wolf's body was healing more each day. It could stand on its legs longer and even take a few slow steps. Jack watched with pride and care, always near to help if the wolf fell. The wolf was quiet but thoughtful. It watched Jack's gentle actions and heard his soft voice. The wolf was learning that not all humans were the same. Some were kind and wanted to help, not hurt. Jack spent a lot of time talking to the wolf, telling stories about his home planet. He described green forests, wide rivers, and tall mountains. He told the wolf about animals that looked like big cats and dogs, but were very different. The wolf listened carefully and sometimes tilted its head as if trying to understand. One day, Jack took out a small device from his bag. It was a translator, something that could help the wolf and Jack understand each other better. Jack turned it on and waited. At first, the wolf was confused. It did not know what to do, but then Jack spoke slowly and clearly. "Hello, friend," Jack said. The device repeated the words in a soft, alien language. The wolf's ears moved. It tried to make a sound back. The device caught the sound and showed words on a small screen. Jack smiled. "Good. We can talk to each other." From that day, the wolf and Jack started to share small conversations. Jack learned the wolf's name, Kyle. Kyle's voice was rough but soft when he spoke through the translator. He told Jack about his pack and the battles they fought long ago. Kyle missed his home. He missed the feeling of running free under the bright stars. But he knew he could not go back yet. His wounds were healing, but his heart still carried pain. Jack understood. He promised Cale that he would help him find a new home, a place where Cale could be safe and strong again. One morning, while Jack was preparing food, the ship's alarm rang again. This time, the sound was different, closer and more urgent. Jack looked outside and saw a fleet of enemy ships arriving fast. They wanted Cale badly. Jack told Cale, "We must prepare. This time it will be harder." Cale growled low and stood, tall. Even though he was still healing, his fighting spirit was alive. The enemy soldiers landed on the planet near the ship. Jack and Cale knew they had little time. Jack used the ship's defense system to protect the area. Cale waited quietly, listening to the sounds of battle outside. Suddenly, a group of soldiers broke through the ship's shield and entered the room. Cale jumped up and fought fiercely. His claws and teeth were sharp and strong. He moved fast, protecting Jack and himself. Jack fired his weapon carefully, trying not to hurt Cale. Together, they pushed the soldiers back. The battle was tough, but Jack and Cale worked as a team. They learned to trust each other more every moment. Cale's strength returned a little with every fight. After the soldiers were defeated, Jack checked Cale's wounds again. He cleaned and bandaged them carefully. "You are brave," Jack said. "I am proud of you." Cale looked at Jack with deep eyes. For the first time, he felt more than pain. He felt hope and friendship. The two were not just medic and patient anymore. They were partners. They would face whatever came next together. The stars outside shone brightly. The galaxy was wide and full of danger, but also full of chance. Cale and Jack knew their journey was just beginning. Together, they would find a way to live, fight, and survive. After the battle, Cale felt a new strength growing inside him. His body was healing faster, and his spirit was stronger. Every day, Jack helped him with medicine, food, and kind words. Cale was no longer the lonely old wolf lying wounded on the cold planet. He was becoming alive again. Jack and Cale spent many hours together. Jack showed Cale how to use the ship's small training room. It was a place with soft mats and light walls where Cale could practice walking and moving safely. At first, Cale was slow and careful. His legs felt weak, and his muscles ached. But Jack never gave up on him. "Try again," Jack said one day with a smile. "You can do it." Cale took a deep breath and stood up. He walked a few steps and then fell. But he did not feel angry or scared. He got up again and kept moving. Jack clapped his hands and cheered quietly. It was the first small victory for Cale. The wolf was learning to trust Jack completely. He saw Jack not only as a helper, but as a friend. Cale had never known friendship like this before. It made his heart warm, even though his past was full of pain. One evening, as the stars shone outside the ship's windows, Jack and Cale sat near the fire. Jack told stories about Earth, about people and animals, and about the simple joys of life. Cale listened closely, his eyes shining with curiosity. "Do you miss your home?" Jack asked softly. Cale nodded slowly. "Very much." Jack understood. He wanted to help Cale find a new home, a place where he could live safely. But first, Cale needed to be strong. Suddenly, the ship's alarm sounded again. This time, it was different. A message came through the ship's communicator. The voice was cold and loud. "Give us the alien wolf. You cannot hide forever. We will come for him again." Jack looked at Cale. "They know you are here. They will try to take you." Cale growled low, but did not panic. He was ready to fight if needed. But Jack had a better plan. "We will leave this planet," Jack said. "We will find a safe place." Jack quickly prepared the ship to take off. He checked all systems carefully. Cale watched him, feeling the excitement and fear inside him. The ship lifted off smoothly. Outside, the enemy ships were moving closer fast. Jack turned on the ship's speed boosters. They flew away quickly, leaving the dangerous planet behind. Inside the ship, Kyle felt the wind on his fur from the open window. He closed his eyes and breathed deeply. For the first time in many years, he felt free. Jack smiled. "We will find. You're home, Kyle, I promise." The journey through space was long. Jack showed Kyle many stars and planets. They talked about what Kyle wanted for his future. Kyle said, "I want a place where I can run again, a place where I am safe." Jack nodded. "We will find that place." Days turned into weeks. Kyle's body grew stronger. He practiced running in the ship's training room. Sometimes he even smiled, a rare and beautiful sight. One day, the ship approached a green planet full of forests and rivers. Jack looked excited. "This might be the place," he said. Kyle looked out the window. The planet looked alive and full of life. It reminded him of stories from his past. Jack prepared the ship to land. "Let's see if this can be your new home." Kyle felt hope. For the first time, he believed in a future where he could live, without fear or pain. Together, Jack and Kyle were ready to face whatever came next. The ship slowly descended toward the green planet. Below, thick forests stretched for miles, rivers sparkled in the sunlight, and mountains rose in the distance. Jack and Kyle watched through the large windows, both feeling hope rise inside them. Kyle's heart beat faster. This planet looked like the home he had dreamed of, a place full of life and freedom. He could almost feel the soft grass under his paws and smell the fresh air. Jack carefully guided the ship to a clearing near a river. The ground was soft and the air was clean. When the ship landed with a gentle thud, Jack opened the door. Fresh air rushed in, carrying the smell of pine trees and flowers. Kyle stepped out slowly. His paws touched the soft grass, and he felt a warm feeling inside. He looked around and saw birds flying and animals moving in the distance. This place was alive. Jack smiled. "Welcome home, Kyle." Kyle did not answer with words, but with a soft growl of happiness. He took a few steps and then ran slowly through the clearing. The wind blew through his fur, and for the first time in a long time, Kyle felt free. Days passed, and Kyle explored the new world. He learned to hunt small animals again and drink fresh water from the river. Jack watched proudly as Kyle's strength returned fully. The wolf's old wounds were gone, but the scars in his heart still needed time to heal. One evening, while the sun set behind the mountains, Kyle sat quietly beside Jack. The sky was painted in orange and pink. Jack spoke softly. "You're safe here. No one will hurt you." Kyle looked at Jack and then at the forest. He remembered his past. The battles, the losses, and the pain. But now, something inside him was changing. He was ready to forgive and to start again. Jack and Kyle worked together to build a small shelter near the river. It was simple but warm. Jack brought tools from the ship, and Kyle helped by carrying wood and stones. They shared many quiet moments, learning from each other. One day, while exploring deeper into the forest, Kyle found signs of other creatures, footprints and broken branches. He felt a mix of fear and curiosity. Was this place really safe? Were there others like him? Jack saw Kyle's worry. "We will face whatever comes," he said. "Together." As the days passed, Jack and Kyle discovered that the planet was not empty. There were other creatures, some friendly, some dangerous. Kyle's senses were sharp, and Jack's knowledge helped them avoid trouble. Kyle even met a small group of wild wolves. They were cautious at first, but soon accepted Kyle because of his strength and kindness. For the first time, Kyle felt part of a family again. One night, Kyle looked at the stars and thought about the journey that brought him here. From the pain of old wounds and loneliness to the hope of a new life. He felt grateful for the human who saved him. Jack sat beside Kyle and said, You've come a long way. I'm proud of you. Kale nodded, his eyes full of trust. Together, they faced the unknown future, ready to build a new story. The green planet was their new home, a place of peace, friendship, and hope. The days on the green planet passed quietly, but not without challenges. Kyle and Jack worked hard to build a peaceful life together. The small shelter near the river was now a cozy home. They spent mornings watching the sunrise and evenings sharing stories by the fire. Kale had grown stronger and faster. His wounds were gone, and his fur shined under the sunlight. The wild wolves he had met before became his new family. They ran together in the forests, hunted together, and rested under the stars. Jack continued to care for Kale. He learned more about the planet and the creatures living there. Jack built better tools and made sure they had enough food and water. The two were a perfect team, one with strength and the other with knowledge. One day, while exploring a new part of the forest, Kale and Jack found signs of danger. Strange footprints, broken trees, and the scent of unfamiliar creatures. They knew they were not alone. Something was watching them. Kyle's eyes narrowed. He growled softly, warning Jack. "We must be careful." Jack nodded and prepared their small shelter for defense. He gathered materials and made traps. Kyle stood guard, his senses alert. Night fell, and the forest grew dark and quiet. Suddenly, strange sounds echoed. Growls, footsteps, and low whispers. A group of large, unknown creatures appeared near their home. Kale stepped forward, showing his sharp teeth. The wild wolves joined him, standing tall and ready. Jack stood beside Kale, holding a small weapon, but hoping not to fight. The creatures looked fierce but did not attack. Instead, they watched and then slowly backed away. It was a warning, not a battle. Jack breathed a sigh of relief. "We must respect this place," he said. "It belongs to many." Kyle understood. This planet was big, and they had to live with others peacefully. The wolf's heart was full of respect for the wild creatures and the land. Days passed peacefully. Again. Kyle and Jack continued their life, growing closer every day. Kyle no longer felt the pain of his past. He had found a new home, friends, and a true friend in Jack. One clear night, Kyle looked up at the stars. He remembered the long journey, from being old and wounded to becoming strong and hopeful. He thought of the battles, the losses, and the kindness he had found. Jack sat beside him and said softly, "You are not alone anymore, Kyle. You have a family and a home." Kyle nodded, his eyes shining with trust and happiness. For the first time, he felt truly free. The stars above seemed brighter than ever. The green planet was full of life and possibilities. Together, Kale and Jack faced the future, ready for whatever came next. They were no longer just a human and an alien wolf. They were friends, partners, and family. And their story was just beginning.